Hello everyone, welcome to a new video, and in today's video we're not going to look at Philippine land intel or Philippine property intel directly. Instead, I want to talk about something just as important, and that is everything you should actually prepare before moving to the Philippines. Because most people already know the obvious thing. They know they need a passport, they know they need a visa plan, they know they need a flight. But what many do not think about are the practical things that can become major problems later if they are not prepared before leaving their home country. So in this video, I want to go through the things you should sort out before you arrive in the Philippines and not after. Because once you're already there, fixing certain problems can become slower, harder, more expensive, or more stressful. Let's start with the first major point, and that's your visa and stay plan. A lot of people say they will figure it out later, but that's not a good approach. You should already understand before you fly what kind of entry you're using, how long you can stay, what your extension path is, and what your longer term plan may be. For many travelers, the first entry is often visa-free stay if their nationality qualifies. The Philippine Bureau of Immigration says eligible non-visa required visitors are typically admitted for up to 30 days. And the BI also offers an initial 29-day visa waiver extension to bring that stay to 59 days total. Your passport generally needs to be valid for at least 6 months beyond your intended stay, and an onward return ticket is commonly part of the visitor requirements. And if you're planning to stay longer, you should not just assume you will deal with it later. The BIA service portal currently offers online tourist visa extensions and visa waiver services, but you still need to understand the timing and requirements before you rely on it. If you stay more than 59 days on a tourist status, the B1 says foreign nationals on temporary visitor or tourist status also need an ECR1 card. So, before moving, you should already know how long your first lawful stay is, when your first extension must be done, whether your nationality has any different rules, and whether your long-term path is tourism extension, marriage-based residency, retirement residency, work, or something else. That's not something you want to improvise under pressure. If you're thinking about retirement, you should also research the SRRV carefully before you go. The Philippine Retirement Authority says that the SRRV has special eligibility requirements, including pension or deposit-related requirements depending on your category. Those details can change, so anyone considering that route, check the PRA directly before making plans. Another thing many people forget is departure-related immigration paperwork later on. For example, annual reporting and immigration-related requirements can affect foreign nationals staying long-term, and the BI has reminded registered foreign nationals to settle annual report obligations before an immigration clearance process when applicable. So, the first big message is simple. Do not move to the Philippines with only a vague visa idea. Move with an actual stay strategy. Now, the next big area is banking and payment access. This is something a lot of people underestimate badly. Before you leave, you should make sure you have at least 2 independent ways to access your money. Not one card, not one bank, and not one app. Make sure you have at least 2. If your only bank card gets blocked, stolen, skimmed, damaged, or swallowed by an ATM, and you have no backup, you can create a serious problem for yourself very fast. So, before you move, ask yourself, do I need a backup debit card? Do I need a backup credit card? Do I know whether my bank will block transactions if I suddenly start using my card in the Philippines? Do I know my card limits for ATM withdrawals and foreign payments? Can I still access my online banking if my usual phone number stops working? Do I have emergency access to funds from a second bank account or service like Wise? These are the kind of things people often only think about after something goes wrong. And once you're in your home country, this is the easiest time to set them up properly. That also leads into phone security and account recovery. This is a huge one. If your bank, email, and important accounts are only linked to a phone number from your home country and that number stops working abroad, you can end up locked out of critical services. So before you move, you should make sure your most important accounts have secure backup recovery options. That means checking things like backup email, authenticator app access, recovery codes, secondary phone methods, and whether your SIM setup will work internationally. Also think about your phone itself. What happens if your phone is lost or stolen in the Philippines? Can you still access your money, your email, your documents, your flights, and your bookings? If the answer is no, then you are not prepared enough yet. Another very important topic is insurance. A lot of people think about this way too late. Before you move, you should know exactly what insurance you do or do not have. For example, does your current travel insurance actually cover long stays? Does it stop after 30 days, 60 days? Or 90 days? Does it cover hospital treatments abroad? Does it cover medical evacuation? Does it cover theft or liability? Does it cover you if you're no longer considered as just a tourist? And if you already have health insurance in your home country, does it still help you abroad at all or almost not at all? These are not small details. One medical issue, one accident, or one hospitalization without proper preparation can become financially brutal. So this is one of the most important things to figure out before you leave, not after you land. Next is documents. Before moving to the Philippines, you should have both physical and digital copies of all your important documents. That means things like passport, driving license, birth certificate, marriage certificate if relevant, insurance document, bank contracts, visa-related paperwork, flight details, accommodation records, and emergency contacts. Keep digital copies in at least 2 places and do not rely on only your phone gallery. Use proper cloud storage and keep offline copies also. Because if your bag disappears or your phone breaks, you still need access. If you think you may later apply for residency, marriage-related paperwork, retirement status, or other formal processes, it is also smart to think about what documents may later need to be legitimized, translated, or freshly issued. That kind of planning can save a lot of time later. Another big topic is your home country admin before leaving. A lot of people only think about arrival, but not enough about what they are leaving behind. Before moving, you should check your bank address situation, tax correspondence, government letters, health insurance status, residency registration, pension or benefit consequences, and whether someone can reliably handle urgent mails if needed. Because once you're already abroad, a simple letter back home can become an annoying or serious issue if nobody is managing it. You should also think about card replacement. If your bank card expires in 6 months, that matters. If your passport expires too soon, that matters even more. Before moving, check the actual validity on your passport, your cards, your IDs, and anything else you may rely on internationally. And this is also a good time to think about emergency planning. What would you do if your wallets get stolen, your phone gets stolen, your bank blocks your account, you get hospitalized, your family back home needs to reach you urgently, or you suddenly need to leave the Philippines fast? Most people do not prepare this at all, but even a very basic emergency plan makes a huge difference. Write down emergency contacts, keep spare payment access, keep copies of documents, keep some emergency cash stored separately, know where your embassy or consulate information is. These things sound boring, but they matter a lot when something goes wrong. Another thing people forget is medication and health preparation. Before moving, check whether your medication is easy to get in the Philippines or not, whether you need a doctor's note for something, whether you should bring a supply with you, and whether any specific prescription would become difficult to replace. You should also think practically about dental work, classes, and anything routine that may be easier to sort out before leaving your home country. Now let's talk about finances more broadly. Many people calculate only the obvious cost: flight, hotel, visa, done. But the real move often costs more than people expect. You should think about temporary accommodation, deposits, visa extension, ACRI card cost if applicable, setting up local life, unexpected bureaucracy, replacement purchases, and emergency service money. So before moving, do not just ask, can I afford the flight? Ask, can I afford the first few months properly without margin for problems? That's a much better question. Another thing that matters is your long-term payment setup. Will you use your home country bank only? Will you open a local account later? Will you use Wise? Will you keep most of your money outside of the Philippines? Will you rely on ATM withdrawals? These are the kinds of practical systems you should already think through before leaving. Now on the visa side again. One final important point: do not assume your temporary plan will automatically work forever. A lot of people arrive thinking they will just extend and see what happens, and sometimes that works for a while. But a real move should eventually become more structured. Tourism status, marriage-based options, work, retirement, or other legal routes all have very different implications. So you should move with a short-term plan and a long-term legal plan, even if the longer-term route is still only provisional. So overall, if I had to summarize the biggest message of this video, it would be this: before moving to the Philippines, do not only prepare for the flight, prepare for the systems, prepare your visa plans, your bank access, your backups, phone security, your insurance, your documents, your emergency plan, your finances, and prepare your home country admin before you leave, because once you arrive, life becomes much easier if these things are already sorted. And of course, while this video is not directly about Philippine Land Intel or Philippine Property Intel, both of those projects are also being built to help people make smarter decisions in the Philippines, especially around location, property, relocation, and risk. If you're interested in that side as well, you can check those out too. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and share it. And if you want more practical Philippine advice, relocation tips, expat guidance, and smarter decision-making content, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. If you have your own preparation tips or things people often forget before moving, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.